Man, y'all already know what time it is, man. You know, you guys know what I'm saying, man. You know what I'm saying? People don't want to hear the truth, man. That's a problem that we have in the United States of America, present. Real talk. You see what I'm saying? Like I'm doing a live stream earlier. I just did a live stream, and I'm saying the live stream the entire time is cutting out. Literally. You know what I'm saying? I've been streaming on YouTube for over 18, 19 months, and I never had that to happen. It's like I can't get the content out because the live stream keep cutting out. I don't know why. I know the United States should not attack Carg Island. I do know that, and I'm going to keep saying that. It don't matter if you don't want to hear it or not. Just put the troops on Carg Island and watch what's going to happen. Maybe there's people who want President Trump to do that. People are writing, I'm telling you, he got people in his circle that's writing the wrong answers on the chalkboard for him. Because I'm saying it don't take a monkey to understand. Another thing is President Trump, he ordered that on Carg Island, they hitting civilian infrastructure on Carg Island. You see what I'm saying? And if I'm not mistaken, that's against international law. They didn't went to Congress and they didn't got, I'm telling you guys, listen to me, this will be a surprise. The fallout behind this situation in Iran is going to be a surprise for many Americans, but for me, it's not going to be. I'm saying they got a law that they made in Congress that limited President Trump's powers. He's supposed to be out of Iran, and you talking about he just ignore all of that, and he gonna march forward with putting troops on the ground in Carg Island. I'm saying that is a suicide mission for him. And I mean, we were just doing a live stream, like I said before, it kept cutting out, to where that the Iranians literally have issued a threat against his life. That is serious. So serious that he couldn't ride the regular Air Force One back home. He had to get on another plane. He had to ride the old Air Force One back home. This is news. Reported by all the legacy media. It's news. You see what I'm saying? So serious that the Israelis picked up the phone and they let President Trump know. They say, hey, big dog, the Iranians got an active plot against your life. And I'm saying we've seen in America the attempts on his life. I think this is serious. This is more serious than people are taking it. And at the same time, it's like he's not turning down, he's turning up. At the same time, he getting on TV and he's saying that the ceasefire is over and the Iranians are scum. In my opinion, guys, and you guys take my opinion for what you may, but you got to understand that I have been properly educated. But in my opinion, though, me looking at this situation and saying that if you do put troops on Carg Island, if you do, President Trump, decide to put troops on Carg Island, and while you are putting your troops on Carg Island, President Trump, I'm saying if what I think is going to happen, because it's going to happen, the Iranians are going to use Shahed drones against them troops. It's only 5 miles long, 3 miles wide. 15 miles circumference that the Iranians are going to be targeting drones from all over Iran, probably Hezbollah too, Saudi Arabia too. You're not going to be able to see and have enough appropriate warning for Iran whenever they launching these drones at these troops. And just like Ukraine, against a much stronger and a much powerful military, was able to use drones to kill over 500,000 Russian troops. Think about that. Together combined, in Afghanistan and Iraq too, which all of the American people look at as a failure. Failures for America in the foreign policy, international geopolitics. Iraq too and Afghanistan looked at as a failure. How many American troops died in both conflicts? In both conflicts, you looking at less than 10,000 American troops died in both conflicts. I'm saying over $500,000 in Russia against Ukraine. Yeah, you know why? I'm saying 70 to 90% of the deaths, the Russian troop deaths and the Ukrainian troop deaths have been by drones. I'm saying, listen, I said this earlier, live stream interrupted. You see what I'm saying? They kept interrupting, cutting off on me. I'm sorry you guys don't want to hear the truth. I love my nation. I don't have nothing against President Trump. I don't want to see nothing happen to President Trump. I think that would be an attack against all of us, whether you support him or not. Whether or not you think, whatever you think about him or not. But I just want to get people to see and understand what's going on. Do not put troops on Karg Island. If you put troops on Karg Island, I'm saying that will literally destroy you. I'm saying even in America, I'm talking about, look, so y'all remember when said President Trump wasn't qualified, right? Even in America, like Caroline Leavitt and other Republicans have said, people got Trump derangement syndrome. I told you that. I've heard a lot of people say a lot of things, very disparaging threats against President Trump, Americans, that you don't usually hear from against presidents. You see what I'm saying? I heard that. So I'm saying the American people looking at this entire situation, it's like a COVID thing. It looks like a COVID thing. It looks like President Trump doesn't have the leadership skills to manage a war. Just like it looked like President Trump didn't have the leadership skills to manage a virus, a world epidemic. That's what it looks like to the American people. Because I'm saying, you saying the ceasefire is over. That's the news in this live stream. You saying the ceasefire is over, but I'm saying that's not what the American people want to hear. 58% of the American people strongly oppose this war. So if you have 58% of the American people who are in strong opposition against this war, I guarantee you got more than 58% of the American people. I hadn't seen a poll on this, who are in strong favor of peace or that memorandum of understanding. I seen a poll where only 11% of Americans wanted President Trump to do more in Iran. The majority of American people do not want the United States and Iran to open up back into a full-fledged conflict. What do the American voters want? The Iranians know that President Trump and the United States have midterm elections in November. All you have to do is go back through the archives of legacy media and see what happened the last time the Democrats controlled one chamber of the House of Congress. I'm saying if you attack Karg Island, I'm almost positive and certain they're going to control both of them. The American people are looking at President Trump like his leadership skills are inept. I'm telling you, that's how they're looking at. Y'all could show him whatever poll you want to show him. Fox News, y'all could hype up this war to be whatever you want this war to be. But I'm telling you, that's what the American people are looking. That's what the American people are seeing. The American people are seeing a president in which appears that he can't get it done. He's not able to get it done. You know what I'm saying? A president who came out and who touted and who was out there supporting a ceasefire. This is your ceasefire. This is your memorandum. I'm saying it's a beautiful document. But the American people are watching, Republicans, independents, and Democrats. And they see President Trump out there with this document, this memorandum of understanding. Phew. Okay, maybe he did need to strike Iran to get a better deal than President Obama. Maybe he did need to degrade some of their capabilities. Hey, they still got a lot of capabilities left. But 24,000 bombs, tomahawks, and the likes and the sorts, you can't say that the Israelis and the Americans didn't degrade any of the Iranians' military capabilities. That's false. You know they did. You see what I'm saying? So you can't say he didn't degrade any of the capabilities. They did degrade Iran's capabilities. Factual. So, I mean, at the point of the Memorandum of Understanding, you could look at the situation and you could say, hey, looking at this Memorandum of Understanding, okay, President Trump, maybe he did have to hit Iran. Maybe he did have to do what he did. But to go from that Memorandum of Understanding that you was touting yourself, to go from a Memorandum of Understanding that you was touting yourself, to go from that memorandum to a point to where you saying the memorandum is done, that looks like you don't know what you're doing. What else it look like? Y'all get down in the comments and y'all tell me, Republicans, Independents, Democrats, the such. What does it look like? I'm saying, you saying, hey, Iran is begging for a peace deal. He's saying it again right now. In the meantime, while we're watching, in the middle of the peace deal, the Iranians completely violated. In the middle of the peace deal, the Iranians continuing to violate international law, thinking that the Strait of Hormuz is theirs. In the middle of all that, President Trump still coming out and he trying to tell us that the Iranians want peace. What? It don't look like the Iranians want peace, President Trump. It look like you do. And that's what they saying. They know this. They understand this. They know the Republicans got midterms coming up and they the party in power. They know the Republicans was the party in power the last time we went to war in the Middle East. The Iranians are familiar with, they know all of this. They want war. The American people can see it. They know war. President Trump can see it. President Trump done the calculations. And he understands that war is not good for him politically. He's done the calculations. He sees it. He understands it. So I'm saying, after all of that, this is your memorandum that you sent your vice president to the Middle East, that we crossing our fingers. I'm talking about the patriots in the United States who understand that this war is not helpful to us. It's not helpful to the world economy. It's not helpful to the American economy. It's not helpful to the Republican Party. It's not helpful to President Trump politically. They understand that. We crossing our fingers. Like, phew, we done got out of this. Maybe President Trump is right. President Trump, he could look like a hero in this situation. He went over there. First of all, he tore up President Obama's deal. That's not a good look. Your deal better be better. And see, it's too much pressure on him. This is really profound what I'm saying right now, y'all. It's too much pressure on President Trump. It's coming from every direction. The pressure is coming from every direction. But he put himself in his own position. He can't blame nobody but himself. He the one calling them scum. He the one spitting on the Democrats being too aggressive. He governing too aggressive. America don't want a strong man. A strong man ain't gonna make it in America. That's not how you could do business. You gotta be pretty like President Obama. That's how you get the people to love you. Yeah, you could be a strong man, and the people who want a strong man and who love strong man, those people will support you. You see what I'm saying? There's a faction of the American people who support President Trump regardless. But that's only some millions, a few millions. There's millions and millions or more. The regular American people, the regular American voter, that is not what they want. That is not what they're looking for. I'm telling you, that's not what they're looking for. They wanted that Memorandum of Understanding signed. They want President Trump within them 60 days to not get into a war or conflict, or not break out to a war or conflict with Iran. Y'all know I told you that was going to happen. I told you it was going to happen. I seen it. It wasn't as much all the way President Trump, but it is President Trump too. You got to have a certain kind of disposition, a certain kind of game face, a certain level of discipline when you negotiating with suicidal terrorists who are strapped suicide bombs on. These people will kill their own. What they care about killing Americans for? If you kill 30, 40,000 Iranians, why would you care about killing any Americans? So I know President Trump negotiating with the IRGC, who you just killed their supreme leader. I knew it. The way President Trump was, he came out there and just with some simple words, he was threatening to wipe Iran off the map. Iran didn't like that, and they started attacking ships in the Strait of Hormuz. Is Iran right? No, Iran dead wrong. They dead wrong. But I'm saying, who could President Trump look to blame? That's the question. Is Iran right for attempting to control the Strait of Hormuz? No, they are dead wrong. That is international water. They're terrorists. Why they care? Why they care about international law? Who could President Trump blame for this? This isn't a situation where you could blame Joe Biden. You cannot blame Barack Obama because you tore up Barack Obama's deal. You literally tore up President on this live stream, you guys, for the views. We're not doing this for the views. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is the second stream in a row. We 16 minutes in and the stream just interrupting and going dead. We getting interrupted in the middle of the live stream. The second stream in a row, man. You see what I'm saying? I'm going to come on this live stream and I'm going to tell you the truth, whether you want to hear it or not. You are finna destroy the American empire. I said this, y'all heard me. This will be the war where America bleeds out in. This will be the war. I've been saying this the whole time. We got to change. We need to change our mentality, not just with the Iranians. We definitely need to change our mentality with the Iranians. If I was going in to negotiate with them, I would negotiate with them with, like, it's the way you doing it. I promise you I wouldn't be calling them scum. The dude I'm negotiating with, I killed his daddy and his daughter. I would not be calling them scum. I would be happy or ecstatic that I could get him to the table and negotiate. I would be happy or ecstatic that he would allow his military to talk to my negotiators. I wouldn't be calling him scum. I wouldn't be saying I will wipe them off the face of the earth. Listen, I'm talking about even if you was negotiating with Canada or with a European nation, a democracy, I'm saying you still killed the man's daddy and his daughter. But I'm saying even if you didn't kill his daddy and his daughter, all you got to do is go back and talk to President Obama and ask President Obama how difficult it is negotiating with those terrorists, even if you hadn't done nothing to them. It's hard. I don't see how President Trump can't see that. President Obama had a difficult time negotiating with Iran, and he didn't kill the supreme leader. So now President Trump is in here to start off with. Before you had to kill anybody, he was negotiating with Iran, and the short temperament, or because it wasn't going the way, he wasn't going to get a better deal than Obama. He was getting the same results as President Obama was getting when Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff was negotiating with Iran the first time. I don't know if Jared Kushner was, it might have just been Steve Witkoff at that time, negotiating with Iran the first time. He wasn't getting the results he was wanted, so he come out and tell the American people that they finna get a nuclear bomb, and then he bombs them. And Israel and Iran fight the 12-day war. Okay, so you go back and you negotiate with them again. This is your second time negotiating with them. And at the end of this negotiations, you killed a supreme leader. You got to think about it. You went to negotiate with them 2 times. The first time, at the end of those negotiations, Israel attacked them. Or in the middle of the negotiations, Israel attacked them. You go back and negotiate with them a second time, and in the middle of the negotiations, you kill their supreme leader. So this time you serious. Listen to me. This time you seriously want peace. I seriously want peace. And in the middle of negotiations, I'm saying this time, they attack a ship in the Strait of Hormuz. So you calling foul. Well, in their mind, they just paying you back for what you did to them. In the middle of negotiations, 2 times with the Iranians, you killed their supreme leader one time, and the other time Israel attacked them in a 12-day war. So now you get your peace agreement, and in the middle of your peace agreement, I'm saying they shooting Shahed drones and not, yeah. And insult to injury, I'm saying you saying that you finna wipe them off the face of the earth and that they scum. I'm saying, what other result? How else would you expect this to turn out? Well, I'm trying to figure out how else is this supposed to turn out besides the way it is. Regardless of all that, I know one thing for certain, and I know 2 things for sure. The American people are looking at this situation and viewing this situation. It just simply looks like President Trump is making the wrong decisions. It looks like that. It's looking like President Trump, listen, in his first term, in Trump's first term, the only thing that is, look, the office of the president, a lot of this work, a lot of the jobs the president do, a business leader can do it. A lot of what America does is business. So when President Trump is talking tariffs, in my opinion, he in his wheelhouse. That's his wheelhouse. When President Trump is talking GDP, that's his wheelhouse. When President Trump is talking jobs, in my opinion, that's his wheelhouse. But when you start talking about COVID, I'm not sure if the CEO of Apple could handle a COVID epidemic. I don't know. He might be able to handle it better than any American politician. I don't know, though. I don't know if Jeff Bezos could handle a COVID epidemic. And I believe, if you believe President Trump lost that election in 2020, if you believe that, it has to be because of COVID. The American people saw all the chaos. They saw the summer of love, and they were like, oh no, we can't do 4 more years of this. I believe that is why that's the only way President Biden could beat President Trump in the election. Because of COVID, that's what I believe. His handling of COVID. I'm saying right now the American people are watching how he's handling this situation with Iran, and watching how he's handling this situation with Iran. I'm telling you, I promise you, they just shaking their head, y'all. They shaking their head. It looks like poor leadership. Someone down below, Jay Stewart, good morning, baby. How are you doing? Welcome back. Jay Stewart says Holy Land Wars. It might be Holy Land Wars. It's possible. But I'm saying any decision that I make moving forward, I'm in my mind, President Trump is doing these calculations. What are the American people going to think? What are the American people going to feel? The American people, by a large part, wants this conflict in Iran to be over yesterday. They want it to be over. By large part, this war is extremely unpopular, and the American people never wanted to fight it in the first place. That's how they feel. And I'm saying they're going to let you know that. They're going to be very vocal about that come this November. I promise you. The last time in 2018 President Trump was president, he lost 44 seats, 44 seats. He didn't have an Iran war. He wasn't fighting an unpopular war, and he lost 44 seats in the House of Representatives. I'm saying this time you got an Iran war. So I'm saying he might not lose 44 seats, but he gonna lose the House, and he gonna lose the Senate if he tries to take Carg Island. That's just facts, whether or not you want to agree with it, believe it or not. He already lost the House, and I believe he gonna lose the Senate because of this Iran war. It's gonna be the end of him. Everybody in the Republican Party broke with him on this war. All of his people broke with him on this war. All of them. I promise you, every last one of them broke with him. Tucker Carlson broke with him. Megyn Kelly broke with him. Alex Jones broke with him. Even the far-right racist Nick Fuentes broke with him. I'm saying Joe Rogan on this war broke with him. Thomas Massey. I'm saying all of Congress. You have to get Republicans, because the Republicans got the majority. All of Congress, they voting to end his powers in Iran. When the last time that happened? American presidents do what President Trump do all the time. That's why President Trump is doing it. And he not studying what Congress is saying. But I'm telling y'all, man, this morning I'm letting you guys know, man. Somebody says we're broke, wars make money. If you think so, man, if you think it's necessary, I'm saying you got to consider where the American people are coming from in this like, who is thinking about the American people? That's my question. Which one of these politicians are thinking about the American people? Which one? Because I'm saying, in my opinion, the way they're governing in a way that you are completely not considering what the American people think or what the American people want. The American people don't want this war. Guys, I checked the price of oil. The price of a barrel of oil was at $74. And I'm saying it can continue to go lower, and it can continue to go lower, and it can continue to go lower, or it could go back up. It could go back up to $100. It could surpass $100 this time. It could hit $150. It could hit $200. What do the American people want? The American people don't want the Memorandum of Understanding to be over. The American people don't want to enter into no further conflict with the Iranians. No further. If you guys haven't liked the video, I ask that y'all double tap the video for me. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys hit that notification bell. Jay Stewart this morning, baby. We were having technical difficulties on that first live stream. You know what I'm saying? We were talking about the threats that the Iranians made to President Trump's life, which made him come back on the old Air Force One due to security concerns. You know what I'm saying? And we were talking about the threats that the Iranians made to the American troops if President Trump chose to put boots on the ground on Carg Island, a 5-mile long, 3-mile wide island, in which the Iranians would use Shahed drones to kill these troops. And what I'm saying is, if President Trump put troops on Carg Island, bro, I'm talking about, you looking at the number, listen, 13 American casualties, bro, or is that 13? Is that right? Or is it more? I'm saying, bro, you can't, I'm thinking that if you put troops on Carg Island, I'm saying the number of casualties that you would suffer would be double or triple, maybe quadruple those 13 troops. Because they're gonna use drones. The Iranians, every time them troops come outside, the Iranians gonna have drones hunting them troops. They do it in Ukraine. It's a different landscape. It's a different type of war. It's a different type of environment, excuse me, that's going on in Iran. It's very different, man. Very different. Someone says wars everywhere in different ways. Yeah, there's wars everywhere in different ways, man. Everybody fighting a war. Everybody fighting a battle. You see what I'm saying? We fighting battles in America, different type of wars, like the poor. The poor been fighting an affordability battle since inflation went up to 10% almost under President Biden. That's why they voted for President Trump. They were looking for help. The poor in America, they were looking for help. And they thought President Trump was going to help them. No one expected, I promise you. Jay Stewart, I know y'all in the live stream, man, I can't see y'all comments. We've been having technical difficulties the whole time. The first live stream that we did, I'm talking about, it was jamming the entire time we did the live stream. So this one jammed, and now I can't see the comments, man, but we gonna power through it. We might get 4 or 5 live streams done today. I promise you. We could do 30, 45-minute, 1-hour live streams, man. I'll get the content out because we got to get the content out. The content got to get out anyway. I'm saying what we looking at, man, we looking at President Trump making a decision that can affect America for centuries. And I'm saying once he makes a decision to put ground troops on Carg Island, and what I know in my mind, that's not going to go as good as he thinks it is. Once he makes that decision, it's no coming back from that. Because the Iranians already told you what their game plan is. They already told you their strategy. Their strategy is that not one American returns from Carg Island. That's their strategy. So out of 5,000 Marines, they're not going to kill 5,000 Marines, but if they kill 39, I'm telling you. Because right now, the way the American people feel with the casualties as few as it is, the American people are not particularly happy about President Trump's actions in Iran. So if you start adding body bags to that, if you start adding 21 and 18 and 33 and 39-year-old Americans coming back in body bags, not 2 or 3 at a time, not 13 at a time, not, you know what I'm saying, 6 at a time. I'm talking about coming back 20 and 30 at a time, body bags. Add that body bag. The angst that I heard from a citizen of New York on Long Island, he talking like the Iranians. Real talk. They got people in America who feel the threats to President Trump, because we seen it. I'm not telling you nothing news. We seen assassination attempt after when the last time we seen, in my lifetime, I never seen, look, I was a baby when Ronald Reagan was born, and yeah, they got out Ronald Reagan like the same way they doing President Trump. He wasn't a politician. I don't understand it. Ronald Reagan was a great president, though. He didn't make some of the decisions President Trump made. But I'm saying, bro, like after President Clinton, President Bush, President Obama, President Trump, and President Biden, I never seen the many attempts that they making at him. So if I tell you the angst against President Trump at this moment is very high in the United States itself, then I'm saying you should be able to see where I'm coming from, right? I'm saying just like President Trump, that's why he pushing this memorandum. You looking at 58% of Americans who are completely against this war. 70% of Americans think he's doing a bad job on the economy as far as inflation, which is completely tied to this war. President Trump seeing the numbers. And he understand, and he doing a calculation. He understand what's going on. And he wanted to end this conflict because it's not good for him politically. It's not good for the Republican Party. If he know this and he understand this, him calling Iran scum, he can't help himself. That's the problem. When people said that the leadership, look, his first term, there was no military conflicts. I know I said this in part why I supported VP Harris. I said the world is a different place than it was back then. The people who follow this content, if you guys go back and review the content, you will hear me saying that on the live stream. I said the world is a different place than it was when President Trump took over 4 years ago. When President Trump took over the first time, the only thing in the world was going on was Afghanistan. I think you had an Arab Spring, and that's about it. Ain't nothing else was going on in the world besides that. This time when he took over, Asia was on fire. The American people are so focused, or they were so focused on thinking, or possibly it was possible that President Trump, we were going to go back to the days when gas was $1.80. They were so focused on that to where they ain't paying attention, bro. Asia on fire. India and Pakistan threatening war. You heard President Trump said they put out 8 fires. That's what I'm saying. This was a different world when President Trump took over than it was when he first took over. But we heard them say, they said clearly, they said, oh, President Trump, boy, Putin. Putin will listen to him. He won't listen to VP Harris. And we seen that was false. And I'm saying, out of all the scenarios that could possibly happen, all of the scenarios that could possibly go on, out of all of them, he had to go to war with Iran. Had to start the war by killing their leader. Have to finish the war by negotiating with the people, relatives that you killed. It's an impossible situation for him. For President Trump, this is an impossible situation for him. And I almost knew it. I almost knew it from the time when it was election time, where the American people had a choice between him and VP Harris. I almost knew it from then. Because I told you guys. I know Jay Stewart. I don't know if my boy in the live stream, you know what I'm saying, they hacking my stuff. I seem to believe, because I can't see your comments. So, you know what I'm saying, I don't know if WTF is in the live stream, but I told y'all from back then. And you guys who follow the stream, and y'all come in here all the time. But you guys could just scroll up a little bit to when the Memorandum of Understanding was coming. I praised President Trump for it, but I warned and told y'all that there's a chance that this conflict is not over, because I know how difficult it is to negotiate with the Iranians, and I know President Trump's personality. President Trump gonna pop off at the mouth. They're eating the cats and the dogs. That didn't cost him. I'm going to build a wall and make Mexico pay for it. That didn't cost them. How many times have we heard, I want to take over Norway with military action? How many times have we heard? How many have we heard President Trump say outlandish things, and it didn't cost him? Things that no other politician or no other president we think they can't say. We heard him say outlandish things, and it didn't cost him. Well, these outlandish things he's saying against the IRGC and against Iran, it's cost him. It's cost him. Because I'm saying in their mind, I'm saying they might not be thinking this, but I'm saying you gotta, like, how can you negotiate with someone if you don't know what he's thinking, or you can't predict what he's thinking? That's how I'm a good negotiator, because I know how the opponent's gonna come at me. I'm reading the opponent, I'm reading the room the entire time, I'm reading it. That's how I'm negotiating. So I'm saying, how you can't read the room, read the Iranians, and understand some of these things you should be able to perceive and see and understand. You should be able to understand. And the failure to see and to understand is what the problem is to the American people. Is going to come down to looks like a lack of leadership. The Memorandum of Understanding, according to President Trump and his own words, is over. But what do the American people want? That's the question. If you guys have not liked the video, I ask that y'all double tap the screen for me, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you guys hit that notification bell. It's the Tax the Rich tour. We did episode number 77, man, but we kept getting cut off in the middle of the live stream, man. So I went ahead and I came ahead with episode number 78, because we were going to do a double header anyway. We might even do a tripper header. I might do episode 79, man. Who knows? We on the Upper West Side up here in Manhattan, man. Been up here, gonna be up here, regardless. Filing lawsuits, man. Fighting for justice. You know what I'm saying? People get too concerned with their feelings and they stop thinking about, and that's how they make the errors they make. You too obsessed with what you're trying to achieve. Whoever you are. If you military, ex-military, if you a politician, we have that problem in America trying to overpower things and trying to make things go the way we want them to, and it's not God's will. And that's what happens. If it's not God's will, we need to be trying to be in the will of God. That's hard to tell a politician or a military person who doesn't even believe in a real God. It's hard to tell them that. But that's the problem, y'all. We are not in the will of God in a lot of these actions, and that's why it doesn't go the way it's supposed to. It makes absolutely no sense that the Taliban are controlling Afghanistan after America spent trillions of dollars, lost thousands of lives. It makes no sense. Yeah, because you don't believe in God. You don't understand what God says is what happens. God didn't want the Americans controlling Afghanistan. God said, get up out of here and leave them alone. For whatever reason. That don't mean God is against America. That don't mean nothing bad about America. That don't mean none of that. That just means that wasn't our move. We making the wrong moves, period. And Iran is a wrong move. And people in President Trump party know it. The Democrats know it. The Democrats cheering President Trump on in Iran because they know he gonna destroy himself in Iran. Just what Charlie Kirk told him is going to happen to him in Iran is going to happen to him. He going to destroy himself, and they cheering himself, the Democrats cheering him on. Go, President Trump. Put boots on the ground in Cargill Island. Do it, President Trump. The Democrats cheering him on. Put boots on the ground in Cargill Island, President Trump. Because they know what's going to happen, man. They know what's gonna happen. Y'all, some of these comments are old, and some of y'all might not be in the live stream no more. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, we having technical difficulties. For some reason this morning, bro, a live stream kept on getting interrupted. I'm still gonna get the content out one way or the other. You know what I'm saying? You know, people might not like me for any personal reason, or they might feel like they doing it for my good. They might feel like, you know what I'm saying, I shouldn't be in New York or shouldn't be in Manhattan. And that's the same thing about us being Iran. You cannot impose your will on people. It's going to cost you. There's a penalty for trying to impose your will and overpower people. It's a penalty for that. We do that on the federal level. In Iran with our military, we do that on the federal level in our domestic politics too. With our police, you can't overpower people like that all the time. You got to be within God's will. You could do something. Listen, just because you got the power to do it doesn't mean you should do it. We learned that after we dropped nuclear bombs on Japan. Just because we got nuclear bombs don't mean we should drop them. You feel me? Just because you got the power to do something doesn't mean you should do it. Doesn't mean that it's right. Just because you got the power to try to mess with someone or make someone, it doesn't mean you should do it. And if you shouldn't be doing it, you're going to lose, bro. Bottom line, you're going to lose. And I'm saying that somebody said down below in the comments, we all fight wars. The name of this live stream is called Legal Wars Live because I'm personally in a bunch of legal wars. Personally. And I see people lose against me all the time that should not be losing. Just like the United States had to leave Afghanistan with the Taliban still in power, and that should not have happened. The United States is supremely more powerful than the Taliban in every way. 20 years, trillions of dollars, thousands of lives, and the Taliban still in power. Complete waste of time. Making a lot of noise for nothing. I'm making a lot of noise, but I'm making a lot of noise. It's for a reason. I'm going to get paid. My opponents know I'm going to get paid. They know it. They think I don't know it, but I know I'm going to get paid. I'm going to get paid off of cases all over the board. I have a customer in Mississippi who has an attorney. And I'm saying her medical bills is about $200,000. She owe me $40,000 for a document I prepared for her. I'm going to get paid, boy. So the noise that I'm making, my noise is for a reason. My opponent's making a lot of noise for no reason. Everything they've done, I'm going to overturn what they've done. I don't care about having to hustle to get my car back or having to hustle to, you know what I'm saying, as a disabled veteran to buy me a home. I don't care about having to hustle harder than anyone else to do that. I mean, think about it. Me being a disabled man, I got to go harder than the average person. You see what I'm saying? Me being a black man, I got to go harder than the average person. And then I have opponents who are trying, for whatever reason, they think God talking to them. Just like Benjamin Netanyahu think God talking to him when he telling them that when he's starving Palestinian women and children, you know, it's their mind smoking crack. They thinking that God talking to them. So for whatever reason they coming up against me, that's on them. I don't care. I fight against them and I'm gonna beat you. And everything, I don't care how hard I gotta fight. If I gotta fight harder, I'm not quitting, never. It ain't quitting, I'm a triple down. I'm a quadruple down. If I got a lawsuit, I said this yesterday, if I got a lawsuit and I sued you, and somehow that case gets dismissed, I'm gonna file an appeal on you. That's one case. That case ain't dead, it's just going to the appeals court. And I'm 1-0 in the appeals court. The next thing I'm gonna do to you is I'm gonna sue you again. I'm gonna sue them officers, or I'm gonna sue that police department in state court. You're gonna get 2 or 3 lawsuits if you take one. You ain't getting out of nothing. You're gonna pay every dollar that you owe me. I go up against people that I should not beat, that tries to overpower you because they're outside of the will of God and they don't care. They don't care. I believe America and Iran is outside the will of God, and the American politicians, me telling them this is going to sound like, oh, we can't let them have a nuclear weapon. Yeah, you bombed them in Fordo. You hit 24,000 sites. They're not finna get no nuclear weapon no time soon. So now, oh yeah, we gotta fix Strait of Hormuz. Yeah, now the problem that we have with that strait, that's on us. Because we chose to fight that war. We chose that, so the problem we have with the Strait of Hormuz, that's on us. Who you gonna blame for that? That's on us. And that's how I feel about it. President Trump said the Memorandum of Understanding is over. That's what he said. Ex-Zega said he's supporting a ceasefire, but he also started the war. Listen, that comment right there, and guys, like I said, I'm sorry I'm getting old, but I can't see the newer comments. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and still, if any of you guys want to donate to the channel, you know what I'm saying? If you guys want to become channel members, all you guys got to do is hit the button with the $ in it, and your donations are much appreciated. Listen, I already said that earlier in the live stream, you know what I'm saying? And he probably made the comment before I said that. President, this is what happened. So he's supporting the ceasefire. Yes, indeed, he's supporting the ceasefire. That's the right move. I'm saying he didn't make the correct calculations before he started the war. And due to him starting the war, he's seen how the American people feel about the war and him fighting the war. Due to him starting the war, President Trump has seen the results of the war. He's seen gas prices go. So he made the calculation that it's better for him. It's better for the Republican Party. It's better in every way to discontinue the fight. So that's why he wanted to ceasefire. But I'm saying the majority of the American people, if 58% of the American people, I said this before, are against the war, then 70% of the American people are going to be for a ceasefire and lower gas prices and not putting American troops in harm's way. The majority of the people supported the ceasefire. Probably 7-3. 7 out of 10 of American people, more than likely, they supported the ceasefire. You see what I'm saying? So I'm saying, like, him going after the ceasefire, that would be like him winning. him achieving a ceasefire. Listen, this what I want you to get this picture. If I tear up President Obama's memorandum, and if I go bomb Iran, kill the supreme leader, get his son to make a peace deal with me, go get the nuclear dust, bring it back to America, then I could justify my actions. That's why I attacked Iran, to get the nuclear dust. I went harder against Iran than President Obama did because I got a better deal. Regardless if the deal is the same, I'm saying he's gonna sell it like it was necessary to have military action. He's gonna sell it. If he come back with that nuclear dust, gas prices are getting lower than they were prior to the war, inflation is dropping, the American people are gonna be somewhat forgiving of him fighting the war. Do you get that? So him going after the ceasefire, I'm saying, what's wrong with that? That's what the American people want. That's a wise leader, in my opinion. That's a wise leader who recognizes that America is only getting 1% or less of the oil from the Strait of Hormuz. So we don't economically have to fight this war. The Iranians, we done bombed them and did all kind of things, so they're not about to get a nuclear bomb tomorrow. So I'm saying that's him making a educated calculation that it's just better for him politically due to the November midterms for him to go ahead and step up out this conflict. So the ceasefire works. The American people support the ceasefire. You can sell this story, or you can sell this as something that you want or something that you achieve. You can sell this as that. Something you did better than President Obama, something that was necessary that President Obama should have done. You could sell it as that. And when the gas go down, that's what the American people care about in large part. And when the inflation go down, that's connected to the price of oil, the American people kind of forget about it. It go in the background. So yeah, he worked hard to get the Iranians to the point to where they take the... Listen, I'm telling them the whole time, the way you gonna get them there is the money. The way you gonna get them there is the money. The way you gonna get them there is the money. He got them there. He got them to the table. He got them to sign a memorandum. But the way you gonna keep them there is with great negotiations. And that's what we're gonna talk about the next live stream. You need better negotiators. You need better negotiations. You're failing at the negotiation part with Iran. That's how you're going to keep them at the table. You're going to keep them at the table by your leader not coming out in the middle of negotiations and saying that if they don't agree to you, you're going to wipe them off the map. Because they're going to challenge you. They're going to say, oh, you're going to wipe me off the map if I don't agree with you? Well, watch this. If that's the case, we're going to close the strait again. They know that's the whole point of the war right now. The point of the war right now isn't the nuclear material. I believe they'll give up that nuclear material for the money. That's what I believe. The ballistic missiles, they're not giving them up. You see what I'm saying? The Shahed drones, they're not giving them up. But I believe they'll give up that nuclear material for the money. That's what I believe. If you guys haven't liked the video, y'all go ahead and double tap the screen for me. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all hear that notification bell, man. New York City is a very noisy city. You guys will hear that all the time around the city. Up here on the Upper West Side of Manhattan, man, it's like I got a lot of haters and they upset that I'm up here on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. They were trying to get me to stay in Queens. Queens is, you know what I'm saying, where I was in Queens was, you know what I'm saying, it wasn't like this right here. They was trying to get me to stay in Queens, in the hood. You know what I'm saying? But they don't like it that I'm on the Upper West Side of Manhattan, bro. They trying to get me going up out of Manhattan so bad. Poor things. They have to be the most miserable of people. If you guys have not liked the video, y'all double tap the screen for me. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell. We see another fire truck coming by this morning. We're going to let them get by, and we're going to get right back to the content. President Trump is supporting a ceasefire in Iran because that's what is best for America. And he's seen that. He understands that. That's why he's supporting the ceasefire. Somebody says President Trump is a clown. I think it's important as Americans that we don't listen to that sentiment, but we pay attention to that sentiment because of how many attempts there have been on President Trump's life. To the point to where now you got the Israeli government calling and saying and warning President Trump that there's threats on his life, to the point to where you got the Iranians openly making the threats, and President Trump having to ride the Air Force Two back to America from Turkey due to, you know what I'm saying, concerns, security concerns. I know President Trump wasn't happy about that. And so we could understand President Trump now calling them scum. You know what I'm saying? We can understand that. Someone says Israel land is so small, Jay Stewart. Gaza is so small, but somehow are allowed to exist. I'm saying we can't stop Gaza from existing, man. We can't stop Israel, Jay Stewart, from existing, my brother. We can't stop them from existing. Why would we want to stop them from existing? We don't want to stop the Palestinians from existing. We don't want to stop. Listen, the larger solution in Gaza, I heard Benjamin say it out his own mouth. He said that he has Palestinians that's serving in his Knesset. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's the Israeli parliament or the Israeli Congress. He said the Palestinians and the Muslims have representation within the Israeli government. So I'm saying if you got 10 million Israelis and 2 million Palestinians, I don't know if them numbers are right. If your numbers are, you know what I'm saying, 5 to 2 Israelis to Palestinians, I'm saying a solution to a problem in Palestine is for them to get the representation, their kind of representation in the Israeli government. That's a one-state solution. A lot of people believe in a two-state solution in Israel. Maybe there is a way possible to have a two-state solution. I don't know if we're going to get that anytime soon. Listen, whenever we do get peace between Iran and Israel, and Iran and Israel again in Lebanon, because that's what Hezbollah, that's Iran too. Whenever we do get peace, because look, the memorandum, a couple of flaws in the memorandum, I'm going to do a live stream next week about this. A couple of flaws in the memorandum, President Trump should have addressed how can you leave the Israeli and Lebanon situation open? That don't make no sense. Because Hezbollah is a part of Iran. That's why President Trump on the phone and he fussing at Benjamin Netanyahu. Because if President Trump wants peace, if he's trying to achieve peace with Iran, it's hard to achieve peace with Iran when Hezbollah, a proxy of Iran, is getting slaughtered by Israel. So every time Benjamin is hitting Hezbollah, he's hitting Iran, and the Iranians are looking at this as if they're still being attacked. They're just being attacked by Israel. That's how they're looking at it. So the conflict goes on. It continues. There's no peace. I don't see no peace in sight. I don't know if President Trump could pull this off. I don't know if he's even can get this done. Because of the way he is and the way the Iranians is, this is the absolutely worst scenario possible. It's a Democrat's dream. I promise you, the Democrats, y'all should be trying to protect President Trump at all costs. Y'all should be trying to protect him at all costs. I don't care if look, there's factions of America, and I continue to say this, they're Democrats and Republicans. They don't think President Trump is fit. Putting troops on Clark Island is gonna just feed into what they're thinking, that he's not fit. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Certified Quality says government needs lower mortgage, rent, food, help people happy to live without arguing at the government. That's absolutely correct. That's something that, I mean, I don't know. Listen, if President Trump would have started with that, if President Trump would have started with fixing the economy, if President Trump would have started with, I mean, he did lower gas prices. But I mean, he didn't get the price of rent lower. He didn't fix the housing crisis. Listen, if you look at the housing crisis in America, the reason we have a housing crisis, in my opinion, because we let too many illegals into the United States. We hear President Trump talk about 25 million illegals were let into the United States by President Biden. I don't think it was 25 million, but I'm saying I believe he let in over 10 million illegals into America. If you let over 10 million people into a country and you're not ready for it and you giving them housing, they taking the poor people, the poor Americans' housing. So yeah, President Trump, he could point at President Biden and he can blame President Biden in part for a housing crisis, in part. But I'm saying VP Harris, when she was running, she had the solution. Maybe the Democrats seen that, understood it, but she had a solution. We gonna remove the red tape in the U.S. government. We gonna build 3 million more housing units. That's another way for America to collect money if they owning the property. The government written the property. America said, she said they gonna build 3 million more housing units. I'm guessing they projects. That's gonna drive down the rent in a lot of places all across America. She said she gonna stop the mortgages, the big mortgage companies, from buying up all the houses, because that's what they were doing. That's why the housing prices are too high. VP Harris, I'm saying she was gonna address that. Listen, Congress addressed that. That Congress passed a bill in which, in the bill, what they're going to do, or what they're going to attempt to do, is they're going to attempt to lower the price of house. Yeah, but President Trump blocked it because he said he wanted to. You see what I'm saying? So I'm saying currently Congress isn't doing enough. The Republicans are not doing enough. And I'm saying if the Republicans did address certified quality, if the Republicans did address the affordability crisis in full, if the Republicans addressed the affordability crisis in full, what I'm saying is you still fighting a war that's unpopular. You still talking about putting American boots or troops on Carg Island. And when you do that, the American people, regardless if you help fix the economy or not, when you put troops on the ground in Carg Island, the American people are going to look at this situation and they're going to say President Trump don't have the leadership skills to be president. I'm saying, like I said, I believe between 13 and 17% of the population believe President Trump should be removed from president at any means necessary. 13 to 17% of the population believe that. That's dangerous. That's why we see the failed assassination attempts on his life. That's what I was trying to talk about in the first live stream. With the Iranians making those threats on his life right now, I don't see how that's any better for him whatsoever. And you putting troops on Carg Island and you making the vast majority of Americans look at you and say, hey, this guy, I'm saying I don't see how this situation whatsoever is good for President Trump politically at all. I think he has made the calculations. I think he understands that. It's just the type of way he is, the type of person he is. He used to shooting at the hip, off the hip. He used to shooting off the cuff. That's what he used to doing. So I'm saying he just playing it by ear. He just shooting off the hip. He just shooting off the cuff. And President Trump, he like, well, you know what I'm saying? The American military is bigger, stronger, and powerful. And I'm trying to get this deal. President Trump is looking, listen to me for just a second. Y'all, 1 hour and 3 minutes we've been streaming. If you guys want to become members of the channel, all you got to do is hit that button with the $ in it, and your donations are much appreciated. If you guys have not liked the video, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you guys hit that notification bell too. We live on the Upper West Side. I keep saying this. This channel is called Legal Wars Live, man. There are a lot of people that are upset. They just mad, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all look at the firefighters coming out the park, but look, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that's just mad and upset that your boy is on the upper west side of Manhattan. I don't know why. You know what I'm saying? I got cases up here in New York. This Tax the Rich tour that we doing right now, we were supposed to be doing this in California, in San Diego right now. Start in San Diego, get on Highway 1 and ride all the way up the coast of California along the Pacific Ocean. That Tax the Rich tour is coming to you guys sooner or later. It was supposed to be this tour, but that's not what God wanted. So we staying on the East Coast, man. That's how we rocking. You see what I'm saying? After July, man, we gonna be in Manhattan. Business is right now, that's where we getting the work done at, in Manhattan. If you don't like that, I don't know what to tell you, man. You see what I'm saying? That's just what it is. We gotta understand in our lives, it don't matter how much power or influence that you have, you gotta understand that you cannot control everything. God is in control. And that's point blank, period. God is in control, and whether you know that, believe that, or understand that, that's how you get into the problems that you have in your life, because you thinking that you could control it. And that goes for the government, that goes for the president, that goes for the police, that goes for any organization in America. You ain't controlling nothing. God is controlling it. It's going to be God's will. You know what I'm saying? Certified Quality says, imagine this soon. What if America, or no, he said Antarctica melted? Who gonna run looking to take over that land and discover reasons for oil? You know what I'm saying? Listen, they already have people in Antarctica right now. Already people there for that purpose. Already people in Antarctica right now. You know what I'm saying? Already there. Guys, I said it earlier, you know, this is Legal Wars Live, so, you know what I'm saying, if you guys, I'm not doing it for the controversy. I would prefer no controversy whatsoever. But I started Legal Wars Live because as a black disabled veteran in the United States, I kept suffering harassment from businesses, from cities, not training their police officers, from governments. Man, listen, I lost a case, the biggest case at that time of my life. I lost that case. My opponents came to me, they started flapping and trapping just like they are right now. This was going on in Texas. I posted a lot of this on YouTube. Go back and watch my videos, you can catch this content. But I was going against the richest man in the world, and I lost that case. And my opponents, not him, not that company, but the people that still, you know what I'm saying, they flapping and they trapping, bro. They thought they had me. But me losing my biggest case in my life, it didn't turn out to be a loss, because I filed an appeal and I won that appeal in the U.S. Court of Appeals. My biggest loss in my life turned out to be a win, my biggest win. Because it's not about what you want, it's about what God wants. We got to come to that realization in our lives. Even our Christian leaders have to come to the realization that it's not your will, it's God's will. Our political leaders who don't believe in God have to understand these things, man. Just because you got the power to do something doesn't mean that that's what you're supposed to be doing. Any man has the power to overpower almost any woman and have sex with her. But does you have the power to our word, a woman, doesn't mean that that's what you should do. Because you got the power to rob a bank don't mean that that's what you do, idiot. Because you have the power to go in an old woman's pockets and steal everything she got, that don't mean what you do. Because you got the power to drop a nuclear bomb, you don't do it. Because you got the power to go attack Afghanistan, that doesn't mean that's the right move, because you got the power. That's what this is all about, man. I'm trying to tell you people, I'm trying to put it in your head, I'm trying to get it out there, I'm trying to make it known. Just because you have the power to do something does not mean that's what we should do. And because we have a very strong military and we have the power to beat Iran, Iran cannot beat the United States military in a one-on-one conflict. This isn't about a one-on-one conflict with Iran. This is about politics, geopolitics. President Trump says the memorandum, of understanding is over. What do the American people want? If you guys have not liked the video, I ask that y'all do. Once again, our live stream got cut off. We having those same technical difficulties that we were having earlier. I'm quite sure that it's not my phone. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what's going on, but we keep powering through it. You know what I'm saying? I wish I could see you guys comment so I could comment on what you guys are saying in the live stream, but unfortunately, I cannot see what you guys are saying right now. You know what I'm saying? But I did still take the time to jump down in the comment section and read a lot of you guys' comments and what you guys got to say about this, what you guys think. Do you guys support, or do you guys think that the majority of Americans support continuing a larger war or a larger conflict with Iran? I think that's the question. Do you support it, or do you think the American people support continuing a larger conflict with Iran? You know what I'm saying? Do you think that is good for America politically, even if it means that we're paying higher gas prices? Even if it means that we're paying, you see what I'm saying, that we're not getting help with our mortgage. Listen, if President Trump took the time, we got an oil blockade on Cuba. I heard people in America, politicians, media people, along with a couple of people in the Cuban government, said that oil blockade that we have on Cuba right now is an act of war. That's what they calling it, an act of war. I'm saying, which one of us would have ever thought in November the 1st of 2024 that President Trump would have bombed 10 countries to this point? Who would have ever thought that we would have went to our war with Iran and on the verge of going to war with Cuba at the same time? I'm saying, you don't even know how long this conflict with Iran is going to last, and you having a blockade on Cuba. And I'm saying, God forbid, what if, I'm saying, so now you fighting a war on two fronts. That's a very good, because I'm saying, when you start a fire, you don't know what it's going to grow to. Sometimes you could start fires and control fires, but sometimes them fires start, and guys, y'all see them wildfires in Texas and California, them fires are burned for months. It get a mind of its own. That's what I'm saying. And President Trump started a fire in Iran, and at the very same time, he is starting a fire in Cuba. So I'm saying, you don't know when that war with Iran gonna end. I don't know. None of us know. The way it's looking, it's gonna be a long time. Because I'm saying they can't negotiate. I don't want to do the live stream right now, but that's the problem. We should be looking at a failed conflict in Iran. We shouldn't be looking at the words that I hear the legacy media using, is that we're going to get into a full-blown conflict again. That's been failed negotiation after failed negotiation after failed negotiation. War shouldn't be a tool, or a fight shouldn't be a tool that you use in a conflict. It should be something that's a last resort, a self-defense tool. Failed negotiation, that's what we should focus on. Because the bottom line is, regardless of what happens between Iran and the United States, they're going to have to get back to that same point they were at in the Memorandum of Understanding. If you hit Iran 100,000 more times, in the end, you're going to have to sit down at a table with people that hate you, your guts, and despise you. And you're going to have to negotiate a peace deal with them after you hit them 100,000 more times. You're still going to have to sit down at the table and negotiate a peace deal. So Americans can die in the process. You could burn up our military's munitions. You could spend 100, 200 billion more dollars unnecessarily. or if you feel like it's necessary. What I believe it is, it's just pride. It's just arrogance and it's ego on the Iranians, and I'm thinking crazy as you want to be, because the Americans could smash you. President Trump could smash you. That's what your goal is. You gotta achieve the goal. That's what the goal is. To get out this war and to get everything back to the way that it was prior to the war start. You gotta stay focused. It takes discipline and it takes focus to stay focused on that goal. The Iranians ain't listening. They acting crazy. I'm saying they terrorists. To negotiate whatever it is, President Trump, that's getting under your skin, whatever you calling them, he called them scum. I never done it. That's why he didn't have to use Tomahawks or aircraft carriers. That's why he didn't have to use F-35s. Because he didn't have to call them scum. He didn't have to kill their supreme leader. He didn't have to. Do y'all understand that? So that's what's going on, y'all. The Memorandum of Understanding is completely over. It's over with. It's done. It's finished. It's finito. That's according to President Trump. But what I'm saying is, where you go from here, y'all. I said he gonna have to have Jared. Y'all, he's gonna have to have Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner sit down and meet with the Iranians. You're gonna have to negotiate with them. So whether you want to do it right now, whether you want to do it after you drop 10,000 more bombs, whether you want to do it after Karg Island, I'm saying to me it's dangerous for him to stay in this war, because Karg Island is going to be the destruction of him politically. And I pray to God it's not the destruction of him physically. Because like I said, in my opinion, which I know is factual, 13 to 17% of Americans want him removed. I'm talking about powerful Americans. The former FBI director wants you removed from office. General Milley don't think you fit to serve. We're not just talking about some kooks over in the corner. Yeah, the kooks over in the corner too. You got about a bunch of regular kooks around here in the corner, President Trump. They want you gone at any means necessary. I'm not saying that about James Comey, although he made threats against President Trump that he got charged for. I'm not saying that about General Milley. I'm saying I've talked to people, boots on the ground in America, who feel strong enough about this that they'll talk to a complete stranger, don't know if I'm Secret Service or not, and they'll say that they believe that he should be removed from office at any means necessary. That's how strong they feel about it. So I'm saying, why would you want to feed into that? Oh, I can't ride my $400 million jet. I gotta swallow my pride and get on the old Air Force One. Why would you want to feed into that? Because that's what you feed into. Does that make sense to you? That's what you feed into whenever you calling them scum. Because we hear them, President Trump and them, they are aware of people with Trump derangement syndrome. They just not aware of, I don't see how they're not aware of how widespread it is. I don't see how they're not aware of how many people do not like him. How you not aware of that? I don't see how they're not. All the assassination attempts, they're aware of that. Caroline Levitt talk about people with Trump derangement syndrome all the time. They're aware that 13 to 17% of Americans, President Trump, Secret Service, U.S. military, 13 to 17% want him removed. And the majority of that 13 to 17% want him removed at any means necessary. They don't think he's fit. So you putting boots on Karg Island, you're going to feed into that. Not only the Iranians trying to kill you, I'm saying in America, I'm saying you feed into it. Because those 13 to 17% is going to grow, because I'm saying, what are you going to do when you take Karg Island? What are you going to do? The Americans controlling Karg Island are not going to stop the Iranians from Tehran to launching to launching a Shahed drone into the Strait of Hormuz. I understand what his point is. Like, I'm trying to do something. He wants the Strait free. But I don't understand. I don't think the Americans should be doing that by themselves. I think the Europeans should be helping too. That's what I believe. I don't think that the United States should be, it's not within the United States interest alone to free the strait. NATO shouldn't help. Japan shouldn't help. Who getting oil from the strait? Them nations should be helping to get that strait free. The way forward to end this conflict is through negotiations, making deals. Make a deal with China. I believe if he made a deal with Xi, he could get, man, you got to swallow your pride. Hey, Xi, I want this war. I need this war over. I know I'm telling people you my friend. I know you not my friend. And I know you hoping and praying that this war continues. As we speak, the Chinese in the desert in China are developing a warship just like Americans. In the Chinese desert, that's what they do. Trying to hide from the American satellites, but they done got spotted. They trying to build a warship like America's, to rival America. They over there watching what America doing, how America fighting. That's what I'm saying. We could bleed out in Iran. I think Iran, that war was a huge mistake, bro. That's what I believe. I believe our whole government could, our influence and power on the world stage, I think we could bleed out in Iran, man. That's what I believe. I think that was a ginormous mistake. But we're here now. And Iran keep thinking that they could control the Strait of Hormuz, and they can't control the strait. President Trump can't leave the Iranians in control of the strait. That's going to make America, as much as the American, this war should be called the war over the strait. Because as much as the Americans want to prove that they are still the dominant power on the world stage, the Iranians understand that this entire war is over the Strait of Hormuz. If the Americans stop the Iranians from controlling the Strait of Hormuz, then the Iranians don't have they don't have a fight no more. Does that make sense? If we stop you from controlling the Strait of Hormuz, then you no longer have a fight. Because if we can control the strait, then you can't affect gas prices no more, Iran. You can't affect different things that's going on in the world that you want to affect if America can control the strait. So that's what it's all about, the United States having control of the strait. So that's what President Trump is focused on, not allowing Iran to keep attacking ships in the strait. And that's a noble effort from President Trump. Don't get me wrong. I will say that it's a noble effort. But although it's a noble effort, I'm going to just be all the way real with y'all. You cannot stop the Iranians, even if you get Carg Island. I said this, y'all know. How many of y'all in this live stream remember me saying this? Y'all let me know some kind of way. You know what I'm saying? I can't see y'all down in the comments. Y'all let me know some kind of way. I said it's impossible for the United States to be able to free the strait. I said President Trump don't need to get into no fight with the Iranians over the Strait of Hormuz. Everything I said that doesn't need to happen is happening. You see what I'm saying? And that's why we're having the problems that we're having right now. The Strait of Hormuz, I don't think that it's possible for you to be able to secure it against a terrorist regime that could just shoot a Shahed drone in the strait at any time. We didn't have drone technology 10, 20 years ago where it is, but we're at that point right now where these smaller powers like Cuba could buy drones and they can destroy $35 million American aircrafts. If a swarm of drones could take down an aircraft carrier, you talking about billions of dollars. A swarm of drones. We didn't have that problem 10, 20 years ago. I'm saying I'm trying to get these old leaders with their old policies. Y'all see this? The live streams. I'm trying to get these old leaders with their old policies, still think it's a 1980s Iran, still thinking it's a 1980s America. These old leaders with their old policies, I'm trying to get their eyes to open up and wake up and see what's going on. Buddy, this isn't the same world that we had before. You could get a small power. Iran is a large power. You could get a small power like Ukraine to get drones and kill 500,000 and hold off what I believe Russia is the 5th or sixth most, the fourth, fifth, or sixth most powerful army in the world. You holding them off with drones. That's Ukraine. Well, I'm saying Iran is a lot bigger than Ukraine, and America, and land-wise, isn't bigger than Russia. But I'm saying America in their power, military power, number one, they're a lot more powerful than Russia. But I'm saying it still remains the same. They're going to use Shahed drones. That's a 5-mile long, 3-mile wide island. I'm saying the island's not that big. It's not that many places for you to hide. I'm saying if I was the Iranians, they said not one American soldier was going to come back alive. So you know that's what they thinking. All they going to constantly lie. You got to put your not only American troops that are going to be hunted by killer drones, by machines, in this small confined area. Not only will you have American troops hunted, I'm saying they're gonna be trying to destroy all your equipment that you bring to that island too. And that's way easier targets for the Iranians to use Shahed drones to go after your F-35s you got on that island, to go after your small boats you got on that island, to go after your radar and satellites. And if you bring Humvees, the Iranians gonna try to destroy all of that. That's what they're gonna try to do. That's what they into. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. You know what I'm saying? The Iranians, they're going to try to destroy all of that, and that's what you facing, man. That's what you up against, trying to take over Kharg Island. If you guys have not liked the video, I ask that y'all double tap the screen for me, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. You can always see some astounding things that you never seen before in New York City. Over here on the Upper West Side, guys. You know what I'm saying? This morning we talking about the Memorandum of Understanding being over. It is complete. That memorandum is completely over. It's over. That's according to President Trump. So there isn't going to be a peace deal in Iran. That's what we're talking about. What do the American people think? I can't read y'all comments down there, y'all. We having technical difficulties. Y'all get down there and y'all let me know. What does the American people think about a continued conflict, a continued war with Iran? What does the American people think about the Memorandum of Understanding being over? Are they happy with that? I challenge legacy media, CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, Reuters, Ipsos, I challenge you guys to run a poll on how many Americans are not happy that the Memorandum of Understanding is over. How many Americans? How many Americans want the Memorandum of Understanding to not be over? I guarantee you it's not just a majority, it's 2-1 majority, possibly 3-1, possibly 75% or more of Americans. Wait till the poll come out. I know they might do a poll on this. 75% or more of Americans do not want the Memorandum of Understanding to be over. Yeah, and still, President Trump said the memorandum is over. He said that we might get involved, or we did hit 80 strikes on Iran, Kharg Island. The Iranians are saying that the Americans attacked their civilian electricity on Kharg Island, which they're saying President Trump is a war criminal. I've heard several people call President Trump a war criminal. Several. Y'all, listen, y'all are looking at this situation as a situation in which Ghost Rider, you know what I'm saying? Guys, y'all just take, I'm gonna just take a second, you know what I'm saying? I seen this car pull up over here and I'm just interested in like what they would have to be doing over here in the car. I'm just wondering, so we'll just go over here and check them out, guys. You know what I'm saying? I do this all the time. You know what I'm saying? People just pull up on me for no reason, like, you know what I'm saying, this kind of stuff all the time. So his tag number is KZH4489 on the live stream, and I'm making you famous. But you put yourself in that spot. You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't nobody told you to come up there and pull right there. I don't know what this car will be doing pulling right here. That's the only reason why I'm dressing it. I don't even think this museum is open. You know what I'm saying? That guy right here is working there. I don't see no purpose for that car. And it says right there, authorized parking only. And I guarantee you that car is not authorized, but I might be wrong. Yeah, and still, we're going to jump right back to the content. Y'all do this all the time. I have these problems all the time, man. I have people following me. I be getting arrested for false reasons. You know what I'm saying? People making up lies on me. Bro, I have a lawsuit that I'm developing right now because I had people who would just do those false flag calls. You know what happened with Nancy Pelosi's husband, how he got injured? You know what I'm saying? How someone would call the police and say they got a fire in a house down the street, and then the police come show up and it's not a fire, they just going in with guns drawn. Yeah, people call the police on me for something that I wasn't doing nothing at all. They was doing that nonstop. I got a lawsuit behind it. You know what I'm saying? Right now at this time, man, I'm so used to it. I'm very calm. You know what I'm saying? Because they're idiots. But like, I'm under attack right now. Definitely. People are they like, I've heard, you know, a group of people, I don't really want to talk about it. When y'all say people, who is people? That's something that I really keep to myself. You know what I'm saying? You know, I just go by the evidence that I have, and I just pursue, you know what I'm saying, the ones that I have to pursue by the evidence that I have. But you know what I'm saying, I have people, I have opponents, man, they just be wanting to dictate my life and what I do. And I'm 46 years old. That's not what time it is. That's the same problem we have in America, trying to dictate the life of what's going on in the Middle East with the Iranians. And I'm just saying that's not what time it is. I'm saying America will pay a great cost if you try to put boots on the ground in Iran in the era of drones. You see what I'm saying? And I'm saying within America, people aren't looking at the U.S. military as the American people they looking at President Trump as being, listen, at the end of this President Trump, they're not going to look at General Kane. They ain't looking at no one in our brilliant military. They going to look at you and they going to blame you. And General Milley and them going to say, see, I told you that he wasn't fit militarily. I mean, he wasn't fit to command and lead the military. I told you he's not fit to be president. Look at him putting boots on the ground in Cargill and getting all those American troops slaughtered and killed. I told y'all he wasn't fit to be president. Guys, I'm telling y'all, in that Republican Party, Speaker Johnson, y'all, somebody is writing the wrong answers on the board for President Trump. Somebody is doing it. Y'all heard of that? Y'all heard Drake say that in Drake's song? What he mean is you got a fake friend. You see what I'm saying? And say you trying to go to, I'm in Manhattan, say I'm trying to go to White Plains. I don't know which train, I don't know which way to get there. You have a person who's saying they friend and they give you the wrong directions. They trying to get you to bump your head. They trying to get you to make a mistake. Somebody within President Trump's administration, somebody within his circle is giving him the wrong answers. They putting the wrong answers on the board for him. Because Carg Island is a disaster. American troops in Carg Island would be a disaster. I don't have to be a military expert to be able to tell you this. You see what I'm saying? And I'm saying whoever is telling him that he needs to do this, it might be Benjamin Netanyahu. Let me explain to you how this is going to work. Whoever's telling him that he needs to do this, I'm saying, like, they not making a calculation, or they might be making a calculation, but they don't care. And they know what's coming. They know the Iranians gonna launch drone after drone. I'm talking about everything you put on that Carg Island gonna be a sitting duck. 5 miles long and 3 miles wide. How hard is it to hit a target? You can't run. You only 5 miles on this island. You don't understand that. You get to the end. Manhattan's an island. Where I'm at right now, you gonna go. Central Park is behind us, and you got 4 or 5 blocks, and you gonna be to the water. That's it. It ain't nowhere to go. You only got 4 blocks from Central Park to the water. And if you go across Central Park, I don't know how many blocks that would be, and get on the east side, and you get about 4 or 5 blocks, and you at the water again. But Manhattan is bigger than Carg Island, about 3 or 4 or more. What I'm saying is Clark Island is a confined space. It's like putting a group of rodents in a box. That's what it would be like. And you sitting back, look, you put 5, 10 mice in a box, and you sit back about 10 feet from it, and you got like not a BB gun, let's say you got darts, and you trying to kill the mice with the darts. But look, the mice is from here to the end of that concrete. So the box is right there at the top of the screen. Right where the concrete ends, right here. This is where your box at. Your box is sitting right here. And see where my feet is? This is where I'm at. So I'm 6 feet from you with darts, and I'm trying to kill mice in that box. That's how it would be. It's like them American troops will be in that one section, in that one area. They would be confined to that one area. And the whole time, what I'm trying to tell you, the entire time, is that the entire time, y'all, excuse me, the Iranians will be American troops. What will happen? I'm saying it would be like a complete and utter disaster. Complete and utter disaster. Look, I'm starting to see some of you guys' comments right now. Certified Quality says Somalia. Oh my God, I remember the 1980s commercials of those Somalian people starving. He also says issue on America, they keep trying to rob oil from these countries. If we hadn't allowed to purchase, I don't think that's what it is. What's the problem in Cuba then? What's President Trump doing in Cuba, Certified Quality? That's what I'm saying. What's he doing in Cuba right now? You see what I'm saying? Y'all keep saying it's about oil, Venezuela, and it's about oil. But I'm saying he getting at Cuba right now, ain't he? So I'm saying if he getting at Cuba, what he getting at Cuba for then? That don't make no sense if it's about oil, because Cuba ain't got no oil. That's what I'm saying. It don't have nothing to do with no oil. It's just that these countries are allies with Russia and China. They're standing against America, and they just had oil. It just happens that the Venezuelans have oil and the Iranians have oil. The Cubans don't have no oil. He going out to Cuba. What they all have in common, they like little henchmen for the Chinese and for the Russians. You know what I'm saying? They're communists. They're anti-American. Listen, Venezuela, Cuba, and Iran has been anti-American way before President Trump. That ain't got nothing to do with oil. They anti-American. They've been anti-American way before President Trump. They didn't just become anti-American when President Trump took over. This ain't really got much to do with nothing about President Trump. Y'all just keep thinking that. It ain't got much to do with nothing about President Trump. And that's facts. And that's Cuba, that's Venezuela, and that's Iran. I don't think it has nothing to do with oil. It's more to do with the China and Russia and geopolitics and our standing on the world stage. It has everything to do with that. Everything, not something to do with that. It has everything to do with that. In my opinion, this has absolutely nothing to do with oil whatsoever. Nothing to do with oil. When I say nothing, I mean nothing. You see what I'm saying? And you can't get at President Trump for, nah, that ain't what this is. This is something different than that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all thinking that. Y'all just trying to bum on America like America just trying to get people's oil. America just trying to get people's oil. Nah, that's not what it is. Democrats hate Americans too. No, they don't. Democrats, they don't like President Trump. That's what the problem is. It's not that they hate America, it's just that they don't like President Trump. Listen, I told you 13 to 17% of Americans, not that they hate President Trump, you see what I'm saying? 13 to 17% of Americans. That's what I'm talking about. 13 to 17% of Americans, they don't want President Trump in office at all. They think he should be removed. It's worse than hating him. And I'm saying that percentage that's against him like that, I don't think you could tie that to politics. You know what I'm saying? It's always crazy people in politics. It's always a faction of kooks that are connected in politics, always. It's just that faction became so much more alive under President Trump. And we see a lot, this is a climate where we see a lot of political assassinations and killings. Not just attempts on President Trump, not just Charlie Kirk. We know about that healthcare CEO here in Manhattan. We know about all kinds of people where we see that happen. Congress people, state representatives in Minnesota. You see what I'm saying? This is just the climate that we in. So we need to take this assassination stuff seriously. Very seriously. If you guys haven't liked the video, y'all make sure y'all double tap the screen for me. Somebody said they love President Trump. Nobody hating on you. I'm not hating on you if you like or dislike him. Me personally, that's not my thing. If you like or you don't like him, that's your right as an American. That's your right to freedom of speech, whether you like or dislike President Trump. That's what I'm saying. I went to Long Island yesterday, and they trying to tell me like they gonna make it to where I'm from the South. I don't feel like you. If I go to Mississippi, President Trump gets so much love. It's millions of people across the country that love President Trump. We get caught up in our own thoughts. For the Republicans, they get caught up thinking that it's only them that's allowed. They think President Trump and the Democrats are stupid, they're crazy. And for the Democrats, they caught up in their own thoughts, and they think that everybody wants President Trump gone. Everybody don't want President Trump gone. I'm the only one, or the people like me in the middle are the only ones that got some sense. We know. We don't want President Trump gone. That's going to halfway destroy our country. That might destroy our rule on, especially if he killed by a foreign entity or government. We going to end up in a world war. You see what I'm saying? You think J.D. Vance and them going to take over after somebody assassinated President Trump and they going to let you make it? The America is not going to let you make it if you kill our president. We going to end up in a world war. I'm trying to tell you. You talking about 9/11? I'm talking about you kill our leader, bro. We're not gonna let you make it. I don't care if you wanted him gone. You can't do that, because that's what it was. So whenever it's a president that we want, we just gonna get foreign leaders to kill. Nah, that ain't how you do that. That ain't how you do that. Y'all gonna turn President Trump into a martyr. Y'all gonna ensure that J.D. Vance get elected as president in 2028. That's all that's gonna happen. It's gonna work against you. This is what you don't understand. You have to do the right thing, y'all. We have to do the right thing. 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 How many times you want me to say it? We have to do the right thing. We have to. We don't have a choice. It's not up for discussion. It's not up for negotiation. We just got to do what's right in these situations. You want President Trump to get removed from office, then there's an appropriate way for you to do it through Congress. That's how you remove him from office. If you can't remove him from office through Congress, there's no law, there's no rule that says that he has to exit office because he's being a jerk or he's messing up as president. He messed up during COVID, a lot of people think. But he didn't get removed from office. You see what I'm saying? I'm saying like that hatred or that vitriol in America. I know my voice isn't loud enough. Y'all saying I'm making a lot of noise. What I'm saying, I'm not making enough noise because my voice is not loud enough, because I'm going to bring a message of peace, a message of love, a message of unity. That's what we need. And I know President Trump, and he don't preach peace, love, and unity, and that's the problem. You see what I'm saying? It's because of how he comes across that makes, listen, you're going to have a faction of people who hate a leader. There's people who hate authority. They hate authority so much they want authority removed from their lives. That's what a president is. He represents authority. And some people just hate authority. They don't understand authority. And if the authority don't go with what they think is right or wrong, they want him removed. So they don't have discipline, they don't have integrity, they don't have no respect for the law. They talk about President Trump don't have respect for the law, but they want to remove him by any means necessary. How are you any better than him? As a matter of fact, you worse than he is. If he an authoritarian, he might be, but he got elected as president. That's what I'm saying. So there's an appropriate way to do this. But it's important, y'all, for us to address the fact that the Iranians are making threats against him. And at the same time the Iranians are making threats against him, there's a faction here in America that doesn't think he's fit and wants him removed at any. So what I'm saying is, why would you go out there calling the Iranians scum? If they making threats to kill you and you in the neighboring country in which the Iranian Empire is, would you be over there calling them scum? You calling them scum? You know what the results of that? You can't fly your fancy plane back. You got to ride on the old Air Force One since you calling them scum. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to tell you. There's things that he's doing and it's not assisting. It's not assisting the peace efforts at peace. It's not assisting the peace efforts. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. It's not assisting peace. It's not about a larger conflict. It's the United States about, because I believe that we already there. How can you, if you say the peace deal you came up with, the memorandum is over, then you back to war. Whether you fighting 80, whether you hitting 80 targets a day or 1,000 targets a day, you back to war. Whether it's a full out conflict or he trying to fight a war under a blanket. Because if he fight the war in the public, then the American people, the gas prices gonna go up, inflation gonna go up, the American people gonna get mad. So he trying to fight the war under a blanket. But it don't matter. Well, however, the issue isn't whether or not America is at a larger conflict or going back to a full-scale war. The issue is the failed negotiations. That's the issue. Failed negotiation after failed negotiation after failed negotiation is the issue. You negotiating with the Iranians the very first time. During the middle of the negotiations, bam, you bomb them. Okay, so now you said you utterly obliterated their nuclear program, so they're not going to be able to drop no nukes in no time soon. So you go back to negotiating with them again. 6 months or so later, this time you kill their supreme leader and start a full-fledged war with them. So now you want peace. You done got everything off your chest and you want peace. And you go negotiate with them again, and I'm saying this time they don't respect you, because the last 2 times I negotiated with you, you slapped me in the face in the middle of negotiations. You killed my leader in the middle of me negotiating, so why wouldn't I think you gonna do it again? You're not negotiating in good faith, according to how it looks to Iran. So I'm saying, why? That's what I'm saying. If you... I gave a warning. I didn't want to do a live stream like this in the middle of President Trump and J.D. Vance and them trying to get that memorandum, because that's what's best for America. That's what's needed for the United States. So I didn't want to do a live stream like this in the middle of trying to get that memorandum of understanding, but I understood that the way President Trump is with his personality, I understood that this might go on for a lot longer than we think it will. This might continue to go on. It might continue and continue and continue and continue. And I really believe there's a good chance that this conflict can continue, because I don't know if President Trump is going to be able to negotiate peace with these people. Because these people cannot stand him. They hate him more and more. They want him dead. Because these people, he killed their supreme leader. He killed one of the supreme leader's granddaughters, the new supreme leader's daughter. You see what I'm saying? He bumming them. They've been hating America. They think America is the problem in the world. And I'm saying now you just getting them in a situation where they hate you worse. They hate you more. They want more and more for you to be off the face of the earth. They want more and more for Israel. They hate you more. So if you put money, the only way they gonna talk to you really is money. They could send negotiators, but they don't care. The only way you gonna get somewhere with them is money, and really a contrite spirit. Can President Trump spell a contrite spirit? That's what I think this is about, is a contrite spirit. I killed your father, I killed your daughter, and I'm trying to negotiate with you. I shouldn't be calling you scum. I shouldn't be saying I'm gonna wipe your civilization off the earth. I need a peace deal. President Trump, the focus and the discipline is a peace deal. That's the focus and the discipline is a peace deal. That's the focus and the discipline. That's having focus, and that's being disciplined, is getting a peace deal. Like I showed y'all that card a second ago, people will pop up all around me, but I know I'm doing this live stream, so I'm staying focused and disciplined. Is delivering this content. And that's what President Trump, I'm saying, like, yeah, you could go over here and you could look at the car and what's going over here, or you could look at this dude or what's going over here, or what these people doing out here. Yeah, but the focus and the discipline is delivering this content. President Trump has to realize that his focus and his discipline is getting a peace deal. Regardless if the Iranians are talking trash, if they don't want to make the deal, you got to be able to negotiate. You got yourself in this situation. You made this bed, you got to sleep in it. You killed that lid. That was your strategy. How in the world? It's the same thing with the United States of America. How could you put a dude in jail, or almost put him in jail, attempt to assassinate him, do all this stuff to President Trump, and he end up being president again? It was a disaster waiting to happen. You know he was going to get at the deal. Listen, if it was George Bush who became president again, I'm saying he might not have done it like President Trump, but I'm saying one way or another, he wouldn't have been out in public saying this person need to be indicted, this person he wouldn't be in public with an enemies list. But I'm saying even if it was President Bush or any other Republican, I'm saying you give him that power again, he gonna come back swinging at you. I'm saying, what you think the Iranians supposed to do? The last 2 times you negotiated with them, you attacked them. So what they gonna think from this point moving forward? You have to know that about your enemy. You gotta recognize, whoever negotiating with them, that we killed your supreme leader, and we killed his granddaughter and your new supreme leader's daddy and his daughter. You gotta recognize that. And when you talking to the people, you gotta have professionals and be in a contrite spirit. That's the only way you gonna get peace. The focus isn't going back to war with Iran. The focus isn't whether we're going back to a full-fledged war or a small war. That's not the focus. The focus is the failed negotiations, because you're gonna keep coming back to the same point over and over again. President Trump is gonna be pulling the Iranians back to the table. This is the third, fourth time. They back at the table with the Iranians. Third, fourth time, you back at the table with the Iranians. You got to sit down at the table with them and negotiate. President Trump's greater problem, I believe, is getting Benjamin Netanyahu on board. But that's all. Look, when I told y'all, when y'all voted for President Trump this time, this wasn't the same as it was the last time. It's not the same America that's happening. There's not the same America that's going on. I told y'all that. It's not the same America. It's a different America. Asia was on fire. You see what I'm saying? And I just knew there was an opportunity for President Trump to be president and a war happened. And we in that situation where he president, a war happened, and we can't get to an end of it. Because the Iranians going to stay mad at him. He going to stay mad at them. The Memorandum of Understanding is over, and they going to continue shooting at each other. Certified quality, that's where we stand at, man. You know what I'm saying? I apologize to you guys for this morning, losing the live stream. I did a stream on the threat to President Trump You know what I'm saying? It was a quick little stream, probably about 30 minutes. But you know what I'm saying? Probably about 5 or 6 times during that live stream, you know what I'm saying? It kept on cutting out on me. You know what I'm saying? So I decided to go ahead and end that live stream and jump back on the live. But guys, if y'all get a channel membership, they're only $2.99. We got 39 channel members right now. Who's gonna be number 40? Bunch of new channel members, so that earlier live stream is gonna become members content. You know what I'm saying? I think it's great news. We could have had a great discussion how the Iranians are threatening President Trump's life. We talked about the threat on his life in America caused him to ride back on the old Air Force One instead of the $400 million plane. And at the same time, the Iranians made another threat and said, if the Americans put troops on Clark Island, they're all dying. That's what we talked about on that first live stream, y'all. If you guys want to catch that first live stream that we did this morning, all you got to do is hit the button with the $sign in it. Your donations are much appreciated. $2.99 to become a member of the channel. Also, guys, I want to let y'all know, I told y'all on that first live stream, we the people, we the people. I still think I'm on the We the People tour. Tax the Rich #9. You know what I'm saying? Went to Long Island, man. If you a member of the channel, $2.99 to become a member. If you a member of the channel, man, you could go check out Tax the Rich #9 right now. It don't premiere till next Saturday. So guys, I'm trying to get those channel memberships. They $2.99. Margaret, I see you down there. She said Iran's regime would be out soon. I don't believe that, Margaret. I don't really believe that. I don't believe that the Iran regime is going anywhere. Just like you said, the Taliban will be out soon. That's not what happened, Miss Margaret. The Taliban did not leave. They might have left momentarily, but they came right back and still in power. You see what I'm saying? That's what's going on. I feel the same way about people telling me I'm gonna be out of Manhattan. I'm not gonna be out of Manhattan. You smoking crack, that's a pipe dream. I want the people who saying I'm gonna be out of Manhattan, you know what I'm saying? Because when I address, if I address individuals who are saying this, they gonna act like I'm crazy, that they didn't really say it. The people who saying I'm gonna be out of Manhattan, I want you to see where I'm at in 5 days. You see what I'm saying? People who saying I'm gonna be out of Manhattan, I want to see where you at in 5 days. And I want you to keep saying the same thing you saying right now. In 5 days from now, I want you to say that again. If you guys have not liked the video, y'all double tap the screen for me, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and make sure y'all hit that notification bell. We don't even know where we going, but we gonna come out here and just stand close to people. You know what I'm saying? Have no purpose of being out here, and we just leaving now. You know what I'm saying? There's no purpose for you to be out here. And it says unauthorized, authorized parking only. I know you're not authorized because there's no purpose you have. Just like I said, and the young lady, she just come stand next to me. You know what I'm saying? I think somebody on the live stream yesterday said I was cute, so maybe she think I'm cute, man. So maybe she trying to stand next to me. You know what I'm saying? So I could pay some attention to it. But I'm saying, bro, you and me, I got weird people all the way around me, man. There's a faction of people who will watch me, keep up with me. Everything I'm doing, they've infatuated with my life, trying to dictate and control my life like we tried to do Afghanistan. It didn't work. It doesn't work. It's got to be within God's will. Trying to dictate and control my life like they doing in Iran right now, it's not going to work out good for you. It's not going to turn out good for you. It's just the wrong move to make, these old leaders with their old outdated policies. That's the problem. Old leaders with old outdated policies. That is the problem. Margaret says, looking at them buildings, isn't it amazing what a white man have done? If you said so, I'm saying I look at it, is it amazing what mankind has done? You know what I'm saying? To me, it ain't about white or black. It don't have nothing to do with no white people or no black people. Nothing to do with it. If I'm in your community and you got dog poop all over your concretes, you know what I'm saying? You got dog piss all over your concrete. You got dead rats and rats running around everywhere. If I'm in your community, you see what I'm saying? I'm not gonna stay in no environment or no communities like that. Because you black or white, that shouldn't have nothing to do with it. If you are black and your leadership in that community is black, then that's on you. You see what I'm saying? But black or white don't have nothing to do with it. Manhattan is clean because the people around here keep their community clean. Just like in Queens, if you go to certain parts of Queens, that's anywhere you go to. It's just that Manhattan primarily is all the way clean, the whole island. You see what I'm saying? Different parts, different cities, it's not the same. I'm just saying that's me personally. I'm gonna live in a place where it's clean. It ain't got nothing to do with white people or not. Old white men with mini ducks playing with people's lives. Yeah, I agree with that, Watts. And it's a Dolly Watts. There's a price to pay for doing that. There's a price to pay for doing that and profiting off of it. And that's exactly right. I'm gonna add you as a moderator. Old white men. This ain't got nothing to do with race though. Playing with mini ducks, playing with people's lives and profiting off the hard working and poor. It's sadness thing ever. Worse yet is the sellouts dancing for the masters as their own die. I had to put you as a moderator, and I had to post that comment, Dolly Watts, because that's exactly what's going on in America right now. Guys, we've been streaming for 2 hours this morning. I already did a 30-minute live stream earlier. I told y'all about I was having difficulties on it, but the content I was going over is so important that even though I was interrupted 5 or 6 times in the middle of doing a live stream, I'm going to use that live stream as members content. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to tell y'all one more time before I jump off. Channel memberships, they start at $2.99. If any of you guys want to become a member of the channel, press the button with the $sign in it, and your donations are much appreciated. I apologize once again for the technical difficulties that we had. All the people who powered through with me through the live stream, y'all came back to this live stream. I appreciate y'all. I thank y'all. I love y'all, man. It's Big Ghost Rider up here in Manhattan, NYC, Upper West Side. I'm signing off for now, bro. Y'all look for us to go live again later on this afternoon. Yeah, that means that'll be the 3rd episodes. We'll do 3 episodes. There's just so much to talk about. I just want to make sure that we are clear on the content that we covered. So at first, earlier this morning on that first live stream, you know what I'm saying? The people who follow, I want y'all to keep up with the news we're going over because all of this news is connected together. On that first live stream, we talked about President Trump being in Turkey, NATO summit. That was the news. While he was in NATO summit, the Iranians threatened his life. They said they were going to kill him. We talked about the people in America, that segment 12 to 13% of Americans who have a problem with President Trump or think he's not fit to lead and he needs to be removed. You know what I'm saying? Any means necessary. You know what I'm saying? And then we talked about how the Iranians said if the Americans put troops on Kark Island, that they, so listen, 13 to 17% of Americans think that President Trump needs to be removed. And a large number of those 13 to 17% think he need to be removed any means necessary. You might think that's funny, but I'm saying you've seen the attempts at his life. And you know active attempts, you know what I'm saying, to assassinate the man. Y'all think it's funny. I don't think that's funny. Somebody in the live stream think that's funny. I don't think it's funny. Because I'm saying it's going to affect you if something happens to him. You don't think it'll affect you, but it's going to affect you in some kind of way if something happens to him. So you can keep laughing at him. There's millions of Americans still love him. If you ask me if I want something to happen to the man, no, I don't want nothing to happen to the man. That's crazy to me. No. If something's going to happen to him, you should just impeach him and remove him from office. You shouldn't, nothing physical or violence should happen to him at all. I think that's a big error or a big mistake. But we talked about that. We talked about the Iranians saying if the Americans put troops on Kark Island, that every last one of them going to die. Okay? So that's the first live stream. I almost feel like I need to do that live stream over because there's so much valuable content in there that we could talk about, but instead we went over some of that content right now on this live stream 2 hours long. So I brought some of that content into this live stream, and the news for this live stream is President Trump said the Memorandum of Understanding is over with Iran. You know what I'm saying? And I asked the question, what would the American people think? You know what I'm saying? And then we went over the fact that, you know what I'm saying, the American people for the large part are against further conflict with Iran. It should be further conflict with Iran. It shouldn't be about whether or not we're going back to a full-fledged war, or we're going to be fighting a war that President Trump is trying to hide under a blanket due to the American people being against it. You know what I'm saying? Due to the gas prices and inflation. You know what I'm saying? We might be fighting a war with President Trump hitting 80 strikes, but I'm saying if he do put boots on Clark Island, that's boots on the ground. And I'm saying we spreading, or we waking up, or we opening up that conflict to be a much wider conflict. You see what I'm saying? So that's where we at, man. You know what I'm saying? President Trump said the memorandum is over. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking in my mind that there is a really, really good chance that, you know what I'm saying, the United States and Iran will be going through this for a minute. You know what I'm saying? I don't see how you guys can't see that either. Because the first time President Trump tries to negotiate with Iran, he ends it in bombs. The second time, he killed their supreme leader. So this is the third attempt at negotiating with the Iranians. In the third attempt, the Iranians don't trust him at all. So they went ahead and they attacked the Strait of Hormuz. So that's what we went over. That's where we at. 2 live streams this morning. Jay says war based on lies to cover up sex crime administration. You know what I'm saying? You got to have your proof of that. If you accusing President Trump of going to war to cover up something that's in the Epstein's file, you got to have your proof for that. Rokia says, thank you, Ghost, very much. No problem. I appreciate you enjoying me bringing the content. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had a problem, y'all, like early on that first live stream. It kept cutting out on me. Kept cutting out on me. But still in all, I feel like the things that I'm saying needs to be said, because whatever is being reported on legacy media or whatever is being reported on the internet, in my opinion, they don't go into the certain depths and they don't break it down like I go into the depths and break it down. So yeah, man, I'm gonna come out here and I'm gonna put the content out for you guys. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, 2 hours on this live stream, 30 minutes on the live stream earlier, and I'm probably gonna go live again later on today. You know what I'm saying? So I did 2 of them today, and that's why I'm trying to get off real soon. Iran has been the purveyor of evil and ammunition and terrorist groups for 24 years. The stick that is, you are 10,000% correct. It's just the way you have to handle the situation. What you saying, they've been the purveyor of evil and munitions to terrorist groups. How many years you said? Well, when President Obama was president, it was 14 years, or however many years, for 12 years. But President Obama still dealt with that situation in a different manner than President Trump. Like, what you're saying is true. There's nothing good about the Iranians or nothing good about it. It's just the way you have to deal with that situation and bring it to the end. Supporting apartheid racist Europeans will lead to the destruction of America for sure. Jay Blue, that's a great comment that you're saying. But nah, we need the Europeans in this in freeing that strait. We need the Europeans to do that. That's not all America's job to get the strait free. That's not America's responsibility to be the world police. The reason why President Trump got a lot of his movement turning against him is because that's what they thought their political movement was about. Ending foreign wars. That's not what really happened, though. Rafka, I want to say, hope I pronounced your name right. He said, before we get out of here, y'all make sure if you're on a cell phone to double tap the screen. It's free to show someone some love. Like the video. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell. I'm going to apologize one more time for the technical difficulties we had on this stream and on the first stream. Yet still, I came out and I gave y'all 2 hours and 40 minutes of news and great analysis. I love y'all. Y'all look out for me later on this afternoon. And I know I said that yesterday, but y'all see I went live twice, so I might go live a third time today. You know what I'm saying? We got to get them 100 live streams done by the 31st. Guys, look out for me later on this afternoon and definitely tomorrow, new time, 8:15 a.m. Eastern time. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification so you get the notification. Hit the notification bell so you get the notification every time we on the live stream. Y'all could come join the conversation. Guys, I love y'all. I'll see y'all later on today. Y'all, it's Big Ghost Rider. I'm out of here, y'all.